Matthew McConaughey hasn't worn deodorant in over 20 years, and his co-stars confirm it. From Brad Pitt's baby wipe protocol to Robert Pattinson smelling like crayons while representing Dior, to Shia LaBeouf not showering for 8 months of method acting. These are some of the biggest names in Hollywood who've graced magazine covers, starred in billion-dollar franchises, and been paid millions to smell good in cologne commercials. Yet behind the scenes, their co-stars, crew members, and even their own families have said the same thing. They stink. This is the bizarre, sometimes hilarious, sometimes genuinely unsettling history of actors whose personal hygiene has made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Today, we're covering McConaughey, Brad Pitt, Robert Pattinson, Johnny Depp, and Shia LaBeouf. Plus, the method-acting hygiene phenomenon that's taken Hollywood by storm. Before we get into it, let's acknowledge something. We're all human. We all sweat. We all have days where we maybe skip a shower or forget to put on deodorant. But the people on this list have turned that into something of an art form, whether it's a lifestyle choice, an environmental statement, or an extreme commitment to a character they're playing. Some of these stories have been confirmed by the actors themselves. Others come from co-stars who went on record. And a few are the kind of persistent Hollywood rumors that have followed certain stars for decades. Let's start with the reigning champion. Matthew McConaughey hasn't worn deodorant in over 20 years. This isn't tabloid speculation. This isn't an anonymous source whispering to a gossip columnist. The man himself has confirmed it, and multiple co-stars have backed it up. During a 2024 appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Kate Hudson was asked about the old urban legend that she forced McConaughey to wear deodorant while they were filming Fool's Gold. Her response was priceless. She said no, he doesn't wear deodorant, and by the way, she doesn't either. But here's the thing. While they were shooting those love scenes for Fool's Gold, Hudson did try to do something about the situation. She bought him a rock salt deodorant, hoping its natural ingredients would appeal to McConaughey's earthy sensibilities. He didn't use it. Now, in fairness, not everyone who's gotten close to McConaughey has had a bad experience. In 2021, Yvette Nicole Brown, who worked with him on Tropic Thunder, admitted that she intentionally got close enough to find out what he actually smells like. And her verdict? She said he does not have an odor. She said he smells like granola and good living. He has a sweet scent that is just him. So maybe some people just have different chemistry. Or maybe McConaughey is one of those rare genetic lottery winners who genuinely doesn't produce offensive body odor. Either way, the man has committed to this for 2 decades, and he's not changing course. Now let's talk about Brad Pitt, because this one has layers, multiple layers, going all the way back to the 1980s. When Brad Pitt was a nobody trying to make it in Hollywood, he shared a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in a rough part of Los Angeles with Jason Priestley and another roommate. Priestley, who would go on to star in Beverly Hills 90210, revealed this story in January 2024 on Live with Kelly and Mark. He said the 3 roommates used to play a game to see who could go the longest without showering. And who would win? Brad. Always Brad. Priestley was quick to add that he doesn't think Pitt does that anymore, but back then, the man could go a remarkably long time without bathing. And looking back on it at 54 years old, Priestley's assessment of their behavior was blunt. He said, "Dude, how disgusting. What was I thinking?" Fast forward to 2009. Eli Roth, who worked with Pitt on Inglourious Basterds, shared Pitt's evolved hygiene strategy with Entertainment Weekly. Pitt had apparently told him that when you're sweating and don't have time to take a shower, you just take a baby wipe and rub it under your armpits. Pitt's reasoning was practical, if not exactly glamorous. He said he had 6 kids, he was getting peed on all day, and he didn't have time for a full shower. A couple quick wipes under the pits, and he was good to go. And then there's the nickname. After Pitt's partnership with Chanel No. 5 ended, he reportedly stopped wearing synthetic scents altogether. His then-partner Angelina Jolie reportedly said that their kids started calling him Stinky Daddy. Let that sink in. One of the most conventionally attractive men alive, a man who was literally the face of Chanel No. 5, was nicknamed Stinky Daddy by his own children. Speaking of cologne ambassadors with questionable hygiene reputations, let's move to Robert Pattinson, because this might be the most ironic story on the entire list. Pattinson has been the face of Dior Homme for years. He has paid enormous sums of money to represent a luxury fragrance. And in an interview with Allure, he admitted he doesn't use the fragrance much and has been told he smells like crayons. But it goes deeper than that. In an interview with Extra, Pattinson said he doesn't really see the point in washing his hair and admitted to going 6 weeks without washing it. During the filming of Twilight, a crew member who worked closely with him was quoted saying, and I'm quoting directly here, "He stinks. I mean, it's awful. He never showers. And it drives people on the set crazy." And in 2012, Pattinson himself told the Chicago Tribune that he had so much residue crap in his hair from years and years of not washing it, and, in his words, not having any sense of personal hygiene whatsoever. Now, in fairness to Pattinson, he later suggested in various interviews that many of these stories were exaggerated and part of a persona he created early in his career. Whether that's true or whether he's just doing damage control is something only the people who stood next to him on set really know. So we've got 3 of Hollywood's biggest leading men, Pitt, Pattinson, Depp, all accused of hygiene issues by co-stars and crew. And all 3 have served as brand ambassadors for expensive designer colognes. You genuinely cannot make this stuff up. Which brings us to Johnny Depp. A source told Fox News that Johnny usually smells because he rarely showers and that he isn't big on personal cleanliness. The source added that his then-partner Vanessa Paradis wasn't much different, and that the two had found their perfect match in each other. There was also the incident during the filming of The Tourist, where his co-star Angelina Jolie allegedly asked him to rinse his mouth out with Listerine and then offered him mints as well. Notice how Jolie keeps appearing in these stories. The woman was apparently surrounded by strong smells on every set she walked onto. Now let's shift gears to something slightly different. Method acting hygiene. Because some of the most extreme hygiene stories in Hollywood aren't about laziness or lifestyle choices. They're about actors who deliberately stopped bathing to inhabit a role. And nobody in modern Hollywood has taken this further than Shia LaBeouf. For the 2014 war film Fury, LaBeouf admitted to Dazed Digital that he didn't bathe for 4 months. And that was just the beginning. He also pulled out one of his own teeth because he thought his character shouldn't have one. He slashed his own face and kept reopening the cuts throughout the entire shoot. He spent hours watching horses die to prepare himself emotionally. His co-star John Bernthal described the experience on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. He said LaBeouf came in, pulled his tooth out, cut his face, and didn't shower for 8 months. That's a longer timeline than even LaBeouf himself cited. The stench became so unbearable that, according to the Daily Mail, Brad Pitt and director David Ayer both warned LaBeouf about his behavior. He didn't budge. His refusal to shower eventually got so bad that he was moved to a completely different hotel, away from the rest of the cast. Even Brad Pitt, a man whose own children called him Stinky Daddy, apparently had limits. Another method actor worth mentioning is Viggo Mortensen, though his story is considerably more charming. During the filming of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Mortensen went all in on becoming Aragorn. He carried his sword everywhere. He camped in the woods. He wore the same weathered gear and avoided modern comforts. Fellow actors respected his dedication, but admitted the smell was hard to ignore during crowded scenes. But here's the delightful twist. Annalise Basso, who later played his daughter in Captain Fantastic, described his scent as tea, wisdom, beef jerky, and berries. She said that's just who he is. So apparently, if you're going to commit to being a rugged outdoorsman, it helps to smell like a pleasant hiking trail rather than a locker room. Russell Crowe is another case where method acting and general reputation have blurred together. The complaints reportedly began on the set of Gladiator, where Crowe skipped showering for several days at a time. The same issue apparently continued during Cinderella Man, where he was playing Depression-era boxer Jim Braddock, and reportedly set aside his hygiene habits to better portray the character. Joan Rivers once said she preferred to sit downwind of him at showbiz events. One of Crowe's friends tried to defend him by saying Russell is just an ordinary bloke without a hygiene problem, and that if you stand really close, you might catch the occasional whiff of alcohol and curry after a night on the town. Which is honestly one of the funniest defenses anyone has ever mounted on behalf of another human being. Let's lighten things up a bit with Jennifer Lawrence, because her story is less about hygiene and more about calculated warfare. During the filming of The Hunger Games, Lawrence would eat strong-smelling foods like tuna or garlic before any kissing scene. Liam Hemsworth confirmed that he dreaded any time he had to kiss his best friend, because she would always taste like her lunch. In 2023, Lawrence addressed his complaints on Hot Ones, saying it was not intentional, it was just what she was eating, and then they'd kiss, and he should just get over it. Whether you believe it was intentional or not probably depends on how much you know about Jennifer Lawrence's well-documented love of messing with people. Jake Gyllenhaal joined the conversation in 2021 when Vanity Fair asked him about his shower ritual. He said he finds bathing to be less necessary at times and referenced a whole world of not bathing that is really helpful for skin maintenance, adding that we naturally clean ourselves. He did make a point of saying he ensures he has good-smelling breath, which suggests he's at least aware that some baseline standards should be maintained. That same year, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis essentially kicked off a nationwide hygiene debate when they appeared on the Armchair Expert podcast with Dax Shepard. The couple admitted they don't wash their kids unless they can see dirt on them. Kunis explained she didn't have hot water growing up, so she didn't shower much anyway. Kutcher confessed he washes his armpits and crotch daily and nothing else ever. Their reasoning was that soap gets rid of the natural oil on your skin, and if you can't see the dirt, there's no point. The internet had strong opinions about this, and they might actually have a point, at least partially. Research from Harvard Medical School has noted that excessive washing under hot water can strip the body's natural oils and good bacteria, potentially leading to dry, irritated skin. 2/3 of Americans shower daily, but dermatologists have increasingly questioned whether that frequency is actually necessary. Cameron Diaz confirmed in an interview with E! News that she hasn't used deodorant in over 20 years. Bradley Cooper told Esquire that he doesn't really use deodorant anymore either, but compensates by taking up to 3 showers a day. Kesha went in the complete opposite direction of damage control, telling BBC Radio 1 that people around her say she smells weird, and that someone once told her she smelled like, and this is a direct quote, a shrimp on a diaper. America Ferrera admitted during a 2023 Vanity Fair group interview with the Barbie cast that her guilty pleasure is not showering for a few days, adding that she was really going to regret saying it. And then there's the mystery. In 2025, BBC Radio 1 asked Timothée Chalamet about the smelliest actor he's ever worked with. He refused to name names, but described working on a Western years ago where somebody was, quote, in character the whole time. He described the daily waft that came in, the unwashed state, the nails. He was there for 2 months, but this person was really committed. He also specifically denied it was his Interstellar co-star, Casey Affleck, which only made the internet more determined to figure out who it was. So what do we make of all this? There's something genuinely fascinating about the fact that some of the most glamorous, most desired, most photographed human beings on the planet are walking around smelling like, well, humans. In some cases, considerably worse than most humans. The disconnect between the perfume ads and the reality is almost poetic. These are people whose images are meticulously crafted, whose every public appearance is styled and curated, and behind all of it, some of them are just vibing with their natural musk. Whether it's McConaughey's 20-year deodorant boycott, Pitt's baby wipe protocol, LaBeouf pulling out his own tooth and not showering for the better part of a year, or Pattinson admitting he smells like crayons while being the face of Dior, these stories remind us of something we probably already knew, but enjoy being reminded of. Fame doesn't make you clean. Money doesn't make you shower. And sometimes the most beautiful people in the world smell like granola and good living. And sometimes they smell like a shrimp on a diaper. Hollywood is a strange, strange place.